Ever felt like you're the only one struggling? Like everyone else has it all figured out? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that illusion. Depression doesn't care about your bank account, your follower count, or how many awards you have on your shelf. It's an equal opportunity illness, and it's time we talked about it openly. Let's start with someone many of us grew up watching, the incredible Jim Carrey. Known for his rubber-faced comedy and boundless energy, it's hard to imagine him ever feeling low. But Jim has been very open about his long-term struggle with depression. He once said in an interview, "I was on Prozac for a long time. It may have helped me out of a jam for a little bit, but people stay on it forever." He realized that for him, the medication wasn't a permanent solution. So, what did he do? He turned to spirituality and a deeper sense of purpose. He focused on being present and finding meaning beyond fame and fortune. He also made a conscious choice to limit substances like coffee. His journey shows us that sometimes, coping means looking inward and redefining what happiness and success truly mean to you. It's not always about a quick fix, but a deeper, more personal quest for peace. Then there's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's the epitome of strength, success, and positivity. But even The Rock has faced his own darkness. He revealed that he went through a major depressive episode after his mother's suicide attempt when he was just 15. Later, his dream of playing professional football was shattered, which sent him into another spiral. He described it as the worst time of his life. How did he fight back? His mantra is powerful. "I found that, with depression, one of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone." He started opening up, talking to people, and realizing that holding it in was the most damaging thing he could do. His message is a crucial reminder that vulnerability is not weakness. It's a superpower. The simple act of speaking your truth can be the first, and most important, step toward healing. The legendary Lady Gaga has been a vocal advocate for mental health for years. She has spoken openly about her struggles with depression and PTSD. For her, a huge part of coping has been a combination of therapy, medication, and radical self-acceptance. She founded the Born This Way Foundation to create a kinder, braver world and provide young people with mental health resources. She uses her platform not just to entertain, but to empower. Her story teaches us the importance of professional help and the power of turning your own pain into a source of help for others. Finding a purpose outside of yourself, a way to contribute and connect, can be an incredibly powerful antidote to the isolation that depression brings. And it's not just a modern phenomenon. Think about one of the most revered leaders in history, Abraham Lincoln. Historians widely believe that he suffered from what they called melancholy for most of his life, which we would now diagnose as clinical depression. He endured immense personal loss and the unbelievable pressure of leading a country through a civil war. How did he cope? He used writing, poetry, and his dark, witty humor as outlets. He surrounded himself with friends who understood his moods and didn't judge him. Lincoln's example shows that you can experience profound sadness and still achieve greatness. It doesn't have to define your entire existence or limit your potential. It's a part of your story, not the whole book. So, why does depression hit so many successful people? You'd think success would be a shield, right? Well, it's not that simple. Sometimes, the very traits that drive people to succeed, perfectionism, intense focus, relentless ambition, can also make them more vulnerable. There's the constant pressure to maintain that success, the fear of failure, and the public scrutiny. Successful people often live in a high-stress, high-stakes environment. Also, many high achievers are masters at masking their feelings. They build a persona of being strong and in control, which makes it even harder for them to admit they're struggling and ask for help. It can be incredibly isolating at the top. This is often called high-functioning depression, where someone looks perfectly fine on the outside. They're still going to work, hitting their goals, and smiling for the cameras, but inside, they're falling apart. Another powerful example is Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time. After the 2012 Olympics, he hit rock bottom. He confessed he didn't want to be alive. The intense cycle of training for 4 years, reaching an incredible peak at the Olympics, and then suddenly having it all stop, left a huge void. He felt a complete loss of identity. Who was he without swimming? His recovery began when he finally reached out and said, "I need help." He went to therapy and started talking about his feelings, something he'd never done before. He now says that mental health is just as important as physical health and advocates for therapy. His story highlights that even when you've reached the absolute pinnacle of your field, you're still human. It's okay not to be okay. And we can't forget the world of literature. J.K. Rowling, the brilliant mind behind Harry Potter, has spoken about her experience with depression as a single mother living on state benefits. She described the feeling as a complete absence of hope, a coldness she couldn't remember ever feeling before. Where did that experience go? Into her writing. She famously said that the Dementors in Harry Potter are a direct metaphor for depression. They suck all the hope and happiness out of the air. This is a perfect example of channeling pain into creativity. For her, writing was not just an escape, but a way to process and give form to her darkest feelings, and in doing so, she connected with millions who felt the same way. What can we take away from all of this? First, depression is not a sign of weakness or a personal failing. It's a medical condition, just like diabetes or heart disease. Second, success doesn't make you immune. In fact, it can sometimes come with its own unique set of pressures that can trigger or worsen depression. Third, and most importantly, there is hope and there is help. For some, it's spirituality like Jim Carrey. For others, it's the power of talking, like Dwayne Johnson. It could be professional therapy and advocacy, like Lady Gaga, or finding a creative outlet, like J.K. Rowling. The path to healing is different for everyone. The common thread in all these stories is courage. The courage to admit there's a problem. The courage to ask for help. The courage to share their story to let others know they aren't alone. These famous figures are using their platforms to shatter the stigma, and that's a legacy just as important as any movie, song, or Olympic medal.